Have you ever stared at a bug report and thought, what am I even supposed to do with this? Well, you're in the right place. Today, we're going to show you how just a few simple grammar rules can take your tech communication from confusing to crystal clear.
Okay, let's just jump right in. Take a look at these two sentences. I found a bug. Simple enough, right? It tells the team there's a problem, but it's, just one of many potential issues. Now look at the right. I fixed the bug. That one little word, the, changes everything. It tells everyone you solved that specific problem we've all been tracking. In a fast-moving dev team, that tiny difference is huge. And this is the result when we get it wrong. Seriously, I see tickets like this every day, and they just stop my team in its tracks. A ticket like this is a roadblock. It forces a developer to stop, track someone down, and ask a dozen questions. Which user? Which error? What info do you need? Being clear isn't just nice to have. It's essential for getting anything done. Exactly. So to get rid of those roadblocks, let's build up your toolkit for total clarity. We're going to start with the absolute basics, the first building block, choosing between a and an. Now, the golden rule here is so simple, but it's easy to forget. It has nothing to do with spelling. It's all about the sound of the next word. If the word starts with a consonant sound, you use a. If it starts with a vowel sound, you use an. That's really it. It's about what you hear, not what you see. So let's see how this works with words you use every day. We say a bug, a server. Easy, but look at a URL. Yeah, the letter U is a vowel, but the sound is U, which is a consonant sound. So it's a URL. Same thing on the other side. An error makes sense. But what about an API request? The letter A makes that A sound, a vowel sound. So it gets an. Same for an IDE. When in doubt, just say it out loud. Your ear will tell you the answer. Okay, now we are getting to the absolute heart of clear writing. Seriously, understanding the difference between these two types of nouns, it's going to solve so many of your writing headaches. So here's the deal. Count nouns are just things you can, count. One bug, two bugs, a file, many files. They have a singular and a plural form. Non-count nouns, on the other hand, are treated like a single concept or a lump of stuff. You can't have two informations or three softwares. These words represent a whole idea, and they just don't do plurals. And this is probably the #1 mistake I see that instantly makes writing sound a little off. Just remember, words like software, information, advice, code, traffic, they never, ever get a plural S. Just burn that into your memory. Right, that makes sense. But in a ticket, I can't just say we have bugs or we have code. I need to be specific about the amount. So how do I do that correctly for these two different kinds of nouns? Great question. And there's a really clear rule for that. For all your countable things, you use words like many, a few, or several. For the non-count stuff, you stick with much or a little. And hey, here's a pro tip. The phrase a lot of is your best friend. It works for both. You can have a lot of bugs and a lot of code. Can't go wrong with that one. And, just to keep things interesting, English has some words that can be both. But when they switch teams, their meaning changes completely. Take experience. If you have experience with Django, that's a non-count noun. It's your general skill. But if you had an interesting experience during a deployment, that's a single countable event. The context tells you everything you need to know. So what do you do when you absolutely need to quantify a non-count noun? You can't count code itself, but you can count the containers it comes in. The trick is to just add a unit of measure. That little phrase makes the whole thing countable. And here are the units you'll be using all the time. You don't ask for an information. You ask for a piece of information. You don't fix a code. You fix a line of code or a block of code. This is how you get super specific with things that are otherwise just big concepts. Okay, this is it. This brings us right back to that first slide. All these rules, count, non-count, a versus an, it all funnels down to this single decision. This is the core of it all. How do I pick the right article to be perfectly clear every single time? Let's break it down into a super simple 3-step guide. First, are you talking about a general truth, something that's always true? If yes, use no article at all. We show that with a 0 symbol. Bugs happen. Information is valuable. Second, are you introducing something new or something that's just one of many? Use a or an. I need to set up a server. And third, the golden rule for teamwork. Do both you and your reader know exactly which one you mean? Then you have to use the. So if you remember only one thing today, make it this. The is the article of shared understanding. If you and your teammate can both point to the exact same thing, the main server, the log file from this morning, the user authentication API, then you must use the. It's like a shortcut that kills all confusion.
All right, you've got the core logic down. Now let's add those final touches, the little details that make your writing look professional and sharp.
Capitalization in tech is actually pretty easy. Proper nouns, the brand names of languages, tools, and services like Python, Django, or GitHub, always get a capital letter. But common nouns, the general words, like server, database, or framework, stay lowercase, unless they're part of an official name, of course.
The same logic works for articles and names. For most platforms and services, you don't use an article. You just say, I push the code to GitHub, not to the GitHub. Simple. But you do use the for unique entities like the internet. And this is important when you're talking about a specific part of your system, like the API or the database.
Okay, and enough talk. Theory is great, but putting it into practice is where it really sticks. We've given you the tools. Now it's your turn to build something with them.
So let's do a lightning round recap. 1. Or an is all about sound, not spelling. 2. Knowing count versus non-count helps you pick the right words like many or much. 3. The is for things we both know, and no article is for general truths. And 4. Use units of measure and proper capitalization to look like a pro.
And here's your challenge to make all of this feel real. I want you to write a quick 6-sentence bug report about a login problem. Your goal is to include 2 sentences with a or an, 2 with the, 1 with a general noun and no article, and 1 that uses a piece of information or a line of code. Go ahead and hit pause and give it a shot.
Because this right here, this is the ultimate goal. This isn't about passing a grammar quiz. It's about making your team faster, respecting their time, and getting things done without confusion. So the real question is, can you use these tools to write a bug report that is so clear, nobody has to ask you a single follow-up question?
If you start putting these rules into practice, we promise your technical communication is going to get clearer, faster, and way more effective. Thanks so much for joining us for this explainer.